Hi, I'm Tom Suozzi, Democratic nominee for the United States Congress, 3rd Congressional District. You know, I've been traveling throughout the district for months now, and I find that people are very discouraged about politics in America. You, like I, have heard so many people say, I don't like either candidate for president. Now, I'm supporting Hillary Clinton, but I know that people are discouraged. Members of my own family and my closest friends say things to me like, why do you want to run for Congress? You can't get anything done anyway. Well, I don't believe that. I still believe in the United States of America. I still believe in politics. And if you can get people of goodwill, Democrats and Republicans, people of goodwill to actually talk to each other and work with each other, you can solve problems. But why is it people are so discouraged? They're discouraged because we've been talking about the same issues in this country for the past 30 years. When it's gun violence, these people are shot down in Orlando, 50 people getting killed in one night, but we're still talking about gun violence when that issue started in the 1980s when President Reagan was shot and his press secretary Brady and the Brady Bill was talked about in the 1980s. Whether it's immigration reform, when people were leaving El Salvador in the 1980s, fleeing from the death squads in the Civil War, 50,000 people came over the borders undocumented, illegal at the time. That was the 1980s. It was the 1980s when we started talking about the car manufacturers in Japan stealing all of our manufacturing jobs, the 1980s. It was the 1980s when Al Gore, as a candidate for the United States president, started talking about climate change. All of these different issues, whatever they may be, are the same issues we've been debating for decades. We have to recognize that in order to change the status quo, you have to be willing to stand up to some very powerful interests because people who benefit from the status quo want to keep things the way they are right now. So first thing you have to do is you have to have ideas. What do you want to change it to? Well, I lean to the Democratic side, but I'm willing to work with Republicans across the aisle to try and figure out what the answers to our problems are to try and solve the problems we face in this country. That's the easiest part. The second thing you need is the guts, the willingness to stand up and fight against the powerful interests. Because if you try and change things the way they are now, the people that want to keep it the way it is now are going to try and squash you like a bug. They're going to try and portray you as a caricature, as a cartoon character, so that everybody's come to the point where they say, I don't like the Democrats, I don't like the Republicans, I don't like anybody, it all stinks. That's a big problem. You have to be willing to stand up and fight against the status quo and those powerful interests. But the third thing you need is the ability to win the fight, to understand the politics and the press and building the coalitions necessary to actually change things. My career as a lawyer, as a certified public accountant, as a mayor and as a county executive, someone who's been willing throughout my career to fight powerful interests on behalf of the people I serve. If you put me in the United States Congress, I promise that the one thing I will do is always put your interest before the interest of the politics, even when I have to fight my own party if necessary, because I want to try and do a job to make this country even better than it is now. Thank you very much. Please remember to vote on November 8th.